morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee and Football, presented by Rick Vavro, Austin Underground. I'm your host, Blake Monroe, where I'm joined each and every day by Bobby Burton and Jerry Hamilton. Be sure to tell us where you're checking in from, what you're drinking, get your questions in as well. I also want to start by saying that On Texas football coverage of SEC Media Days is brought to you by the good folks at Vaughn Lane, Flat Creek Estate Winery, Advanced Pain Care, and South Point Dodge. And we are 46 days away from kickoff, so be sure to tell us who your favorite number 46 is.
Ooh, Dusty Renfro had a heck of a hit on Randy McCowan. So Dusty Renfro has the hardest hit of any 46.
And let's see, there's a lot of good number 46s to choose from, so we'll have to revisit that for sure. And before we really get into it, guys, I also want to give a special shout out today to Derek Sandoff in Denver. Just want to just say good luck with everything and hope all goes well there. And our good friend Gus Fleener, it's his birthday today, so happy birthday to Gus, who's always in the chat. Now then, that I got all the introduction stuff out of the way, fellas, it's also decision day. Let's talk about that before we get into SEC Media Day.
I got to say something else. It is so cold in this building, I feel like Bert Auburn from the right hash.
Oh, that's terrible.
Am freezing cold.
Terrible.
I mean, it's Bert Auburn right hash time.
You're about 400 yards from where he missed. So, hey, Jerry, you got to learn to wear long sleeve.
Yeah, I know.
In these,
I got to show off my guns, baby.
All right, let's talk Tyler Atkinson.
Yeah.
Let's get to it. The young man out of Grayson, Georgia. He announces today on the Pat McAfee show. He posted a tweet late last night saying that he was going to be on the McAfee show announcing. Longhorns currently at 18 commits. Jerry, 475 tackles and 3 varsity seasons so far. Clearly one of the more prolific linebackers in recent memory, not just this year. What's going down on his recruiting?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge decision coming up. Texas got him in for the June official visit, right? He'd been on campus twice prior. Going into the June official visit process, Georgia was a pretty clear leader. And I do think this comes down to Texas and Georgia. I think Oregon and Clemson may have some hats on the table, however he's going to announce. But this is really Texas or Georgia. And we posted on ontexasfootball.com yesterday morning, or I did, that I felt pretty good about it, but we wanted to see how the day went. And nothing's pushed me off of that headed in this announcement. But this is a possibility. This is a great football player now, guys. When I went to see him last year, I went to see Nick Brooks at Grayson, and I walked away and said that he was an easy 5-star ranking doing this as long as I have. Tyler Atkinson has unbelievable instincts, unbelievable closing speed. When he hits you, the play is over. He can pass rush off the edge. He can play in space. He is far from a finished product, by the way, physically. I know there's some of that out. Somebody DM me said, is he a finished product or asked on Texas football? I said, no. He can add 15 pounds to his frame. He is going to be a 6'2", 230-pound linebacker that runs in the 4.5s with a long arms and violence on contact and smarts. I mean, he can call the defense for Grayson High. He plays the huddle tape we're watching here is the best competition in the state of Georgia. State champion last year at the highest level. He is an elite player. No brainer 5-star prospect. And it's going to be a huge day for the Longhorns, Bobby.
Yeah, it really has a chance to be. And I would add this. We go back to the last 3 weeks and all the naysayers and worrywarts out there. Steve Sarkisian had something in store, and I think that it just goes to show again what exactly Texas does in recruiting. I mean, they're not for everybody, but they are for certain people. And when they put the effort behind it, some things happen. And hopefully later today we'll find out. He's scheduled to announce at 11 o'clock, by the way, Central, 12 o'clock Eastern. But the McAfee show goes from 11 to 2 Central. So we don't know when in that time frame he's going to. Steve Sarkisian expected to hit the mic himself here at SEC Media Days a little bit later today, along with Arch Manning. Jerry and I saw our first Arch Manning jersey sighting today out in front. A young fan waiting to get an autograph already, and he won't be here for another 6 hours. So we'll see how that goes. But all in all, this is going to be a big day for the Longhorns, not just in recruiting potentially, but also here at SEC Media Days.
All right, good stuff there for sure. Texas fans obviously very excited about Atkinson. All right, Bobby, before we move on, I'm going to let you tell everyone about our sponsor this morning, and that's Austin Underground.
Yeah, absolutely. Austin Underground has been helping, been basically building most of Austin's downtown underground. If you think about it, since 2004, Austin Underground has specialized in difficult underground commercial installations. The team's engineering background gives Austin Underground the ability to perform work other firms often consider too risky. Rick Vavro and his team, Tony and the guys, offer an end-to-end client experience, including seamless communication, budgeting, staffing, and top-notch trade partners. And most importantly, they produce solid quality work each and every time. That's Austin Underground. Also, if you're looking for big-time road projects, subdivisions, large projects like that, check out their sister company, TexasRoad.com. That's TexasRoad.com.
All right there. And so obviously SEC Media Days now in full swing. As y'all said, Texas goes to the podium today. But let's back up a little bit and talk about yesterday. What stood out to you guys? What'd you learn? What'd you like? And what did you not like?
What stood out to me is Diego Pavia is about 5'10 and 195 pounds. He squeezes every ounce out of the orange. Like he is smaller than you think in person. He's stout. He's built. But he's so impressive to just listen to, obviously. The kid's a winner. Doesn't mean he's going to lead Vanderbilt to a college football playoff. They don't have that level of talent. But he just squeezes every ounce out of the orange, Bobby. I mean, if every kid that walked through here physically, he was the least impressive guy. On the field, the guy's he's just got an unbelievable mentality and toughness about him. So it was just interesting seeing him in person. Look, and I think Lane Kiffin's always entertaining. Anytime Lane Kiffin and Feinbaum get together for 10 minutes, it's a great conversation. I'm sure people saw that yesterday. Brian Kelly obviously went to the mic yesterday. Maybe the most impressive guy physically yesterday was Lenora Sellers, though. When Lenora Sellers walks by, it's that – I mean, he's not as tall, but it's that same Cam Newton, Vince Young vibe of like, wow, that guy that we see on the field is that athletic and plays like that, and he is that thick and built that way. He's built different than Vince and Cam, but Lenora Sellers is 6'3", 235. I mean, he is a big guy, super impressive, really well-spoken. I mean, Lenora Sellers is he is a great representative for South Carolina football.
I'm trying to think. Really, my takeaway was more Texas-centric, Jerry. Just we talked to so many people, right? Yesterday, you and I, and kind of whether it was a guy from South Carolina or LSU or Georgia, whoever. The prevailing issue, I think, that I was met with yesterday was the acceptance that Texas is actually ready for a line of scrimmage league. A lot of people doubted that going into the SEC. They do not doubt that any longer when they talk like Texas. We just had we'll hopefully be able to show this to you later, but we just talked to Tony Barnhart, for example, long time, 50 years in the business covering the SEC. And I mean, he brought that out. I mean, he's like, look, at one point, Texas was considered soft. They came into the SEC, and you don't consider them soft any longer.
No.
And so I think that was maybe my takeaway just from a Texas perspective. But what all else happened out there? I mean, there's a lot of stuff. You mentioned Lane Kiffin, I thought, was very interesting. Had an interesting quote as it related to NIL.
Huh.
Said there's supposed to be a hard cap, but a lot of people aren't playing like that. So we'll see what all this means. But we've got Texas coming in today. Kirby Smart, I think, is here in about an hour. So there's a lot of big name coaches in Atlanta today that we're going to be able to hear.
All right, guys, we got a couple of super chats here that I want to jump over to. And
Let's get those questions, Blake.
yeah, let's get them. Bixby Horn, it's for you, Jerry.
Great one.
And it has to do with SEC Media Days and your favorite subject. What is Jerry's go-to Chick-fil-A order for both breakfast and lunch/dinner? Hook 'em.
Easy answer. If you're trying to, you can actually lose weight on Chick-fil-A. The chat won't like this. I've done it before. I lost 23 pounds on a Chick-fil-A diet one time. I did 8-count nugget 3 times a day when I was on the road with 3 unsweet teas. I lost 23 pounds in a month and a half doing that. So I'm a 8 or 12-count nugget guy, unsweet tea, because I'm back in weight loss mode.
And then our next super chat this morning from Clint Barrows. He says, shoving Kirby in a locker 2 years in a row. First, Justice Terry. Now, Tyler Atkinson. Man, God is good. Hook 'em.
Could be the second year in a row Texas gets the top player from the state of Georgia. Who had that on their bingo card? By the way, if my mic is going in and out, please let me know. I'm going to try to speak more directly into it now. But, Jerry, you and I have been covering recruiting a long, long time. I don't know that I've ever contemplated Texas getting the top player from the state of Georgia 2 consecutive years. Have you?
No, I mean, that was hard for Nick Saban to pull off, right? So if Texas does get Atkinson when he announces today, I mean, that is a massive back-to-back years in the state of Georgia, even if that's it. I mean, but, look, last year, I really believe this. If Tyler Atkinson goes Texas way, and NIL's a part of this, I'm not one of those guys sit here on the show and says, oh, Kendall Gerville just got a bigger NIL deal from Florida. That's why Florida. It works both ways. So let's get that out of the way. But I will say this, without Texas recruiting efforts in Georgia last year, Nick Brooks, former teammate, Zealous Hicks, Emory Winston. I mean, you start racking up some wins in the state of Georgia. It becomes easier for a Tyler Atkinson and his family to see a vision at Texas if that's the decision he makes over Georgia today. We'll see. Again, he's announced on the Pat McAfee show. But the work that Texas has done in Georgia, I think in the last class, has led them to some possibilities in this class.
All right, and we'll stay on Atkinson for a moment here. Let's see. Vivek wants to know, Jerry, is he better than Rouse? How does he compare to Ty Anthony Smith? Excuse me. Both are slender speed guys.
Yeah, so you guys know I love Ty Anthony Smith coming out of high school. I think his upside's unbelievable. Ty Anthony Smith was not nearly as physically developed as Tyler Atkinson is. Ty Anthony came out of high school about 6'1", 189, 190, really long arms, really good athlete, and he was all upside. Tyler Atkinson, I love Braden Rouse too, by the way, but Tyler Atkinson is a football player on Friday nights as a linebacker. You just don't find many guys as good as he is. I mean, 475 tackles in 40 games in high school football in Grayson High in Atlanta is an absurd number. And it's not just the tackles. It's 93 quarterback hurries. It's 31 and a half sacks. It's almost 50 tackles for loss. It's multiple caused fumbles recoveries. And he's doing it against the best of the best in Gwinnett County in those areas. And they won state, and they've played deep into the playoffs, 14 games, 13 games the last 2 years. And he's just a tremendous football player. And I think being at Grayson last year when I went to see Nick Brooks, I knew who Atkinson was. And Brooks Austin talked about it yesterday as well. A little different. We have some different points to make on it, but look, he can call a defense at the high school level. I mean, he can make checks. And so it's more than the production. It's the type of in football intelligence he has too, and how much a high school staff trusts him. And that's like quarterback stuff. I mean, I'm on the Atkinson diet. Very well done, Marco. We'll see if I am at 1 today.
Oh, man. All right. More super chats this morning rolling in. So we're going to jump over to those. Jay Pavilla 13, thank you for yours. He says, who's your backup Texas quarterback the month of September?
I think it's Matthew Caldwell. I'm going to call that right now. A lot of people have been Trey Owens entered the summertime at that spot. But based on what I'm hearing, Matthew Caldwell, the transfer from Troy, has looked exceedingly good running the offense this offseason. Of course, he's got 3 years of experience on Trey Owens as well. So this may be news, but that's where I think this may be headed right now. Now, Trey Owens will go into fall camp as number 2. But if I were to take a guess right now, based on just some things I heard within the last 24, 48 hours, I would lean towards Matthew Caldwell in that regard. We'll see. We'll see.
And then our next super chat, fellas, from Matt Hanley. He says, good morning, gentlemen. Is the SEC arrogance and Texas hate from the traditional SEC media guys still there like last year, or have they learned yet?
Boy, it has calmed.
Yes.
I mean, there is, Jerry and I were talking about, and this is one of the things I was trying to say earlier, probably when my mic, I was messed up with my mic. It is obvious that there is a genuine, Texas, like Tony Barnhart. Tony Barnhart is like, I think Georgia and Texas are a step ahead of everybody else in the conference. And then there's Alabama and LSU. And to hear somebody that's been doing it for 50 years say that's I don't know what else y'all want. I mean, I think that's as much respect as you're going to get out of someone and indicative of what we're hearing here whenever we talk to anybody and everybody as it relates to the Longhorns.
Our next super chat from UT Tyler Guy. Everyone needs to give Sark kudos and be patient. Look how far we've come from being a hat on the table and never being picked to now being picked on a much more regular basis. Enjoy the ride. Hookle.
All happened in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've maintained this, but anytime a staff has put together 4 straight top 5 classes, they know there's different paths you take to get there, right? I mean, but the main thing you have to be to get that done is you have to, one, recruit enough of the best players in the country and get them on campus, because you're going to have more misses than hits in recruiting. If you have 50 official visitors, if you may get 23 or 24 of those guys at the end of the day. You have to be willing to stay on your top targets, even when they commit elsewhere, and continue to hang around the rim and see what happens in December around signing period, as long as there is a signing period. That's a discussion for another time. I think will change in the next few years, but you just got to stick. You got to stick to what got you there, and I think this staff does that, and I think that's Sark's direction, and these guys understand that's the task at hand. Look, I'm not saying anybody's are going to flip necessarily, but if you think Texas is just going to walk away from Trenton Henderson, James Johnson, Kendall Gerville, Malachi Lee, Justice Fitzpatrick, they don't do that. And that also doesn't mean somebody won't come in and flip a Texas commitment, because this is the world we live in. Somebody's going to, at some point, Bobby will come in and make some big NIL offer to somebody that's committed to Texas and try to get them to flip. But here's the thing I just maintain. If you're hanging around the rim with enough of the really good players in the state and around the country, your recruiting is going to end up in the top 5 every year if you're University of Texas, or right around there. It could be the 4, 5, or 6 ranked class. Maybe you have the great classes that are 1 or 2, but you're going to be right there where you want to be to continue to bring in the talent level needed, and then not be totally dependent on portal. You can go into the portal to fill needs.
Jerry's right in that things can happen at a blink of an eye when it comes to NIL. Not everything can happen, but a lot of things can. And so I would urge caution. I mean, Texas is not only waiting on the decision here today of Tyler Atkinson, the linebacker that we've been talking about this morning, but also Sunday afternoon or evening, Derek Cooper, the nation's #1 ranked running back out of Chaminade Madonna High School in Hollywood, Florida, will announce his decision. A lot of people think that Texas may be the favorite for Derek Cooper right now, and I'm not so sure we're shying away from that as we report it. But to Jerry's point, I mean, I said Texas. I've maintained this for a week now, and a lot of people thought I was like an idiot or something. I said I thought Texas would be at 20 to 21 commitments by August 1st.
Yeah.
Texas is currently at 18. Tyler Atkinson would make 19. Derek Cooper would make 20. I think they're more likely to end at 21 than they are 20.
Agree.
So that's my thought process on it. And so we'll see what happens over the next 10 to 15 days. But I think it's pretty clear, Jerry, and to everybody else out there, that Sark, Brandon Harris, you guys need to have a little more trust based over. I mean, because there was a lot of mudslinging over the last 3 weeks. Oh, the world's a different animal nowadays with NIL. And I told you guys that, look, Sark started recruiting before there was an NIL, really, and he did well. And now he changed and adapted and adopted. Well, that's all Texas is doing again. So at some point, you got to think maybe Sark understands and his staff understand and get recruiting at its very core. And so hopefully things turn out the way Texas wants them to over the next week to 10 days. And we see where this thing heads.
And you're talking about that 21 number, Bobby. A lot of people asking, who is 21? Obviously, I'm not asking you to call your shot, but who are some other names people should be aware of or maybe keep an eye on?
Well, look, there's a couple of decisions still to come. Devon Benjamin is August 2nd, I believe, or first week of August. And Texas is going to fight it out there. I mean, Oregon's been the favorite. Texas is in it. Michigan's in it. And we'll see. I mean, there's some guys that are trying to flip a Texas commit or two right now, and Texas is trying to flip a commit or two from elsewhere right now. So I think there's a lot of things on the table, and I think in the next week or so, some things may become clear. We'll have to see. I mean, things can change like that in recruiting now, so we'll see where it all heads. I mean, even though Derek Cooper, we feel like Texas is maybe trending there right now. Hey, that's 4 days away from announcing.
Five.
A lot can change. A lot can change. But again, Texas is not going to back off top targets that are committed elsewhere. The guys they really feel like are really, really the best. And here's the thing I always say too about that is Grayson Littleton wasn't a Texas offer at this time last year. Justice Terry was not on the radar. Even when the ball's kicked August 30th in Columbus, this class is going to be far from finished.
Remember, they brought in Nathaniel Marshall.
Yep.
Late last year. That's the defensive lineman out of Chicago that ended up going to Michigan. They brought
Kellen
in
Wiley.
Kellen Wiley, linebacker out of Tampa. So there are other guys they brought in that they did not sign on top of just Grayson Littleton and Zealous Hicks. So there's a lot of wiggle. The one thing I will tell you, above and beyond all of that and what you can take heart in, and Jerry knows this, and he and I have talked about it, whoever they go after late, they will not be backing down on the quality level of that player. So that's just not what Steve Sarkisian does when he tries to build a team. Even if they're late in the process, it's not going to be a guy that's just a guy. They're going to try to go after somebody they think can help their football team. So it's not just to fill a number spot, which, I mean, historically at Texas has been what some coaches have done late, frankly. Sark has not done that, in my opinion. And he won't do it this year.
Some more super chats this morning. Trace Little going back to talking about the SEC hate. He says, come on, we only won because we had the easiest schedule in SEC history, or so they say.
Yeah. Did Texas play Missouri at home?
No.
Did Texas I don't know, Auburn wasn't very good last year. They still beat Aggies, right?
No.
Trying to think who else Texas could have played.
Average LSU.
I mean, Georgia and Florida are just they're just historically bad programs, right? I mean, give me a break. I mean, I thought it was bunk when it came out about it being an easy schedule, because you could look at everybody's schedule and say that at some degree. I mean, now that there's 16 teams in the league or in a league, you know, you're going to get a couple here or there. Look, who would have beat Texas last year, in your opinion, outside of Georgia? Texas was a better matchup than anybody. I mean, they just were. They were great. And I know it was sarcasm, Trace. But my point is, look, Texas was a good football team last year. They just were. They could have played LSU. They would have beat LSU.
Tennessee, they'd have beat Tennessee.
They would have beat Tennessee, no doubt. I mean, there's just no doubt in my mind. And so maybe they didn't get Lenora Sellers late. Maybe, and South Carolina gets hotter. So I don't know, but I felt like Texas was the clear 1 or 2 team in the league last year. They won the regular season and lost in overtime to Georgia in the championship game. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, TJ Johnson, I actually agree with you. You know who would potentially could have been a tough matchup for Texas last year was Ole Miss, because their pass rush ability that's a game that would have been really interesting. I think Texas was the better team, obviously, but if that game's played at Ole Miss because of their pass rush ability, that game would have been interesting.
Ole Miss, though, could get run on last year.
Yeah, they could.
And that's when, with the Texas defense, no offense to Ole Miss, I think that Texas was
Jackson Dart definitely would have had yellow socks against Colin Simmons.
It would have been a
but a yellow.
I think that was
experience.
a good matchup for Texas, actually. Good matchup. South Carolina would have given me a little bit more problems because of the athleticism of the quarterback. That is something Pete Kwiatkowski has struggled with a little.
Next super chat comes from Jason Hablinski this morning. Thank you, Jason. Appreciate you as always. And he says, is this a case where people come off the board and the budget opens for some other big fish? Seems like we missed on some high NIL targets, but other budgets are getting full and we are taking advantage.
Not entirely. Look, you can be more focused later, but I don't think it helps as much as maybe you think. I think maybe Texas was planning for these sorts of things all along and maybe knew what was going to happen and what was going to be needed for certain players. And so instead of being the top NIL person for Xavier Griffin, for example, which Texas was, they love Xavier Griffin, think he's a great player, but you have to pick which ones you're going to maybe go over the top for, right? You can't just go all in on everybody. That's not how it works. And so I think, I personally think that it's not a situation of, oh, well, they didn't get Trenton Henderson, so now let's give all our money to another defensive end or something. It doesn't necessarily work that way. I think that you got to look at it from twofold. What does Texas need? And who do they think fills those needs to the best of their ability, and then apportion the funds at that level and to that person. That's my opinion.
I believe Keldrick Falk from Auburn just walked past us. If that's him, he's impressive looking cat.
That is an impressive looking dude. I was gonna say that. Yeah, the what is he, a defensive end?
Yeah, he's an
Auburn.
NFLer.
Yeah, he looks like it. You remember last year they were asking who was the most impressive looking guys that came through, and I immediately was thinking, well, last year it was the Kentucky defensive lineman,
Deion Walker
and Lance Jackson's brother,
Landon Jackson.
And
those
were
the edge from Auburn. Those are three guys were like,
yeah,
NFL. Next. The Senior Bowl stuff's not so hard. We'll take him, and him. Next.
Well, let's take a look at the schedule that y'all are going to be seeing today. Of course, Georgia and Kirby Smart will start at 10:05 a.m., followed by Auburn and Hugh Freeze. That'll be fun. At 12:15, and then Tennessee at 1:30, and then Texas with Anthony Hill, Arch Manning, and Michael Taft at 3:15, guys. What are we hoping to learn today?
So Georgia's going to be interesting. C.J. Allen, tremendous linebacker. Dalen Everett, really good defensive back. But they're bringing Gunnar Stockton. Look, not everybody brought their quarterback. A few teams didn't. But Gunnar Stockton, I think one of his best qualities is his leadership. Actually, I think he's kind of got that moxie, toughness about him. I mean, he got up from Bakuba's hit. So he's got some toughness to him. But I think that's interesting. First-year starter. He's just got a lot of moxie and leadership to him, and I think he is going to be the leader of this Georgia team, unquestioned. Auburn's going to be very interesting with Jackson Arnold because there's going to be questions about Oklahoma. What are going to be his answers to those questions? And that was Keldrick Falk that walked by. Tennessee, I mean, the players are going to be asked about Nico. What is going to be his former teammates' responses on Nico? And how everything played out, and what's Josh Heupel going to instruct them to say or not say? because people are going to ask these guys about Nico. That's going to be fascinating what Josh Heupel says and what the players say. And then with Texas, look, we were talking about it last night at the Casa we're all staying at, and I said what I'm looking for is what are these guys going to say about young players? What's Michael Taft going to say about Jonah Williams now that he's in football? What's Anthony Hill going to say about Elijah Barnes, Lance Jackson, Justice Terry, maybe Ty Anthony Smith? Somebody should ask him about Ty Anthony Smith for media people here, because Sark said he's a budding star. And ask Anthony Hill what makes him a budding star. These are some great questions that Texas players can answer. Obviously, the Arch mania hoopla is going to be off the charts. There'll be more media people around his interview here than maybe 2 or 3 quarterbacks combined yesterday.
Well, before we move on, Bobby or Jerry, whoever wants to do it, tell us about Vaughn Lane.
Do it, and happy to do so. One of our sponsors of this week's Media Day.
Uh-oh, we lost Bobby.
You lost me?
We lost Bobby's audio.
Well, what about Jerry? See if Jerry can.
Well, Vaughn Lane.
Jerry's got it.
I don't have to read, but here's what I can tell you about Vaughn Lane. I drove behind it, a Vaughn Lane bus on the way to Austin, and I said, I'm taking one of those to a game this year. If you're tired of flying, you're tired of driving, now it's time to upgrade to Vaughn Lane, the smarter way to travel between major Texas cities. And for our out-of-state listeners, Vaughn Lane now connects to Nashville, Memphis, and ATL, where we're at right now. Let's face it, flying is a hassle. Security lines, packed gates, delayed flights, all for a 50-minute trip. That's not worth it. Driving isn't much better. Ever tried a same-day round trip between Dallas and Austin, Houston and Dallas, Houston and Austin? It's hours of lost productivity. You don't need that. Emails piling up, calls going unanswered, and work left undone while you focus on the road. Along with all of that, plush leather seating, complimentary Wi-Fi, complimentary snacks and drinks, plus delicious meals on select departures. That's the one I want to be on, by the way. Need to freshen up. Hot towel service as well. Want to relax? We've got eye masks. I probably need one of those too. Business travelers, recapture your lost productivity. Go to vaughnlane.com. Use promo code OTF25 for $20 off your first trip.
I tell you what, thank you for doing that. And after the picture I saw yesterday, Jerry, of you driving to Atlanta,
I need Vaughn Lane.
Yes, you may be required. Vaughn Lane may be required from a business perspective going forward here on Texas football. I mean, that was a little. Didn't like that so much, Jerry. I did not like that.
Here's a key question. Did y'all go to the home run derby last night? No, we didn't, but we played wiffle ball in the house to see who could hit it hardest, and producer Matt was the winner.
Give me a break.
Bobby took the L badly.
Oh, no. None of us had the Cal Riley switch hitting swing. I mean, what a hoss that dude is. Holy cow. He left-handed, then switches to right hand. I mean, just what a ball player.
Reminds me of a young me. All right. Speaking of baseball, Texas baseball did get a commitment yesterday. I've had a couple of people ask from right-handed pitcher Michael Winter, who will go report to Texas pretty much now out of Kansas. So he was being looked at in the draft, didn't go as high as he had hoped. And so now he's going to Texas, which is great news. I've also had a lot of people ask about what's going to happen to some of the players drafted. And I'm working on a piece over at ontexasfootball.com. So come join us over there and learn a whole lot more about that, because Jeff and I are going to go in depth on that situation. All right, we got more super chats. Longhorn Frenzy 1 says, do me a favor. Ask Hugh Freeze where are the best golf courses to play near Birmingham. I have a business meeting there in 2 weeks.
I got the answer. Okay. There's a great golf course. I can't remember the name, but Jason Duffner plays out of there. Gus Malzahn played out of there. That's where all the Auburn guys play. That's Jason Duffner's home course now. It's apparent, and that's where the Auburn golf team practices. They got a good one. I'm not sure you can get on. You might need to DM Jason Duffner. I'm not sure. I don't think he's doing much these days. Maybe he'll play with you.
Did you hear what Kiffin said about Freeze and his golf game?
No.
Kiffin was asked if he fishes, because you see him, and I don't know if you saw the suntan that Lane Kiffin had.
He put me to shame. He put me to shame. Yeah.
But he was asked if he fishes as much as Hugh Freeze golfs. And he goes, well, Oxford can't really go fishing from where I'm at, so it has to be a special trip. Freeze may do it every day.
Yeah.
Just what people want to hear about their head football coach these days, especially when he's not winning games. That is not a good look.
All right, we got a lot more questions to get to this morning, so let's jump right into those. And let's take this one from Ashley. Ashley says, could we see South Carolina and Texas in the SEC title game?
That would be awesome. South Carolina's got a favorable schedule, honestly. I mean, it's not an easy schedule, but it's a favorable schedule. I'm not sure we've ever brought that up, but I'll say this. If South Carolina got to the SEC championship game, that means Lenora Sellers may be your Heisman Trophy winner, because he would have to really have elevated himself in year 2, because I don't think South Carolina, and I could be wrong, we're in the day and age of the portal, they lost a lot around him. I'm not sure they can put the parts around him that some other schools have in the conference. In fact, I know they don't have. They have good players, but not the level of talent some others have. But if South Carolina got to an SEC title game, that Lenora Sellers may be your Heisman Trophy winner, Bobby. I would love to see the game. It would also be quite the accomplishment, because Spurrier had some really good teams at South Carolina, and Marcus Lattimore kept getting hurt. They never got to an SEC championship game. If Sellers got them there, that'd be quite the accomplishment. It's never happened in history of South Carolina football.
Texas did it in the first year of the SEC, by the way. The Aggies haven't been to the SEC championship game either. What do you want to say?
And we're going to stay on some game-related questions here. Sarah McCoy says, which August
Great
30th
question.
game will be more competitive, Texas at Ohio State or LSU at Clemson?
For Brian Kelly, it better be that game. That's the one thing I would say. That if you look at the games that first weekend, Brian Kelly absolutely has to be very competitive in the Clemson. If he loses by 17, the fan base is going to hate him. He have to come back and beat Florida 2 weeks later. But for his sake, that game's better be the most competitive game out there. I think Texas Ohio State is going to be a great football game. I really do. I know there's a lot of experience lost off both teams, but more so with Ohio State. And they have a first-time starting quarterback. It was really good that Arch has a couple of starts under his belt. But I think it's going to be a great football game. But I think the LSU-Clemson game has a chance to have some real fireworks to start the season. I think that could be a extremely
I got to have you say hi.
Game.
There's a special guy. Just come say hi real quick. Texas fans.
Hey, what up, Texas fans? It's Sam Macho. I don't know who we're talking to, but I love you guys and hook 'em horns.
Thanks, Sam.
And Danny Werfel's here with me. He's talking about Go Gators, but I think we got a good matchup coming up, right? And I don't know. I like Texas. That's all I'm saying. Florida has a really good quarterback. Go look up his information, too. He's up for the All-State Werfel Trophy. Man, this dude's a baller. So is Michael Taft. So we got some battles. Sorry, I'm going to go. Love you guys.
Thanks, Sam. I had to bring him in. Thanks for doing that, Sam. Appreciate it, man. All right, I had to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
Did you recognize Danny Werfel?
I did not. No hair. Bald.
Heisman Trophy winner. Wow. I had not seen him in person before.
He is shorter than Sam Acho, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because he doesn't have hair or not.
I know. Look, Danny Werfel came in the era of you didn't have to have a rocket arm.
Well, that was the Spurrier
offense.
The Spurrier
offense,
yeah.
Right? I mean, he could just place a football like no other.
Yeah.
I don't know. That guy was a great college football.
Sam was awesome. That was great of him to stop by to say hi like that. Fun stuff. What do you got next, Blake?
Next, I actually want to go over to a poll question that you put up over on the OTF community page here on YouTube. And you asked, Bobby, which Longhorn is most likely to be an All-American by the end of the year? You gave 4 different choices, those being Arch Manning, Colin Simmons, Anthony Hill, and Michael Taft. And Colin Simmons with the majority of the vote here, 52% out of over 2,700 votes picked Colin Simmons, guys.
Jerry, what do you think of this? You agree with that?
I do. I agree with that. I absolutely do.
In that order? In that order, kind of?
Yes, I do. Absolutely agree with that. In that order, too. And I'll say this. I think we know that Anthony Hill is going to have a tremendous year, assuming all these guys are healthy, right? A tremendous year. But if Colin Simmons becomes the player that I believe he can be, which is arguably the best college football defensive player, then Texas is going to play deep into the playoffs. That's really because we know what Anthony Hill is going to do. He's year 3. If Colin Simmons becomes the guy I think he can, then watch out.
Yeah, to your point, I think there's upside left on Colin Simmons that we didn't even
Absolutely.
see. We started to see a lot of that as a full-time starter for Anthony Hill last year. We didn't see that from Colin Simmons because he wasn't even a full-time starter. Michael Taft, I think, has a good chance to be an All-American, whether that's first, second, third team, just based on the fact that he's going to have some preseason pub going into this. He'll have some preseason publicity behind him. And then Arch Manning, look, let's see who wins. I've said this. Who's going to be the best quarterback in the SEC? That may define this conference this year. The best quarterback may have the best team. We'll see.
And then our next question this morning comes from Joshua. He wants to know who's the first guy off the bus for us. Could it be Justice Terry?
Oh, I thought he meant of the OTF team. Who's the first off the bus in the OTF team?
All right, Von Lane pulls up to the stadium.
Justice Terry's the first guy off the bus.
You think so?
Oh, 100%.
Lance Jackson's not?
No.
I mean, Lance Jackson's a little
Justice Terry is, if you were a football player, Justice Terry is what you'd want to look like. That's just the guy you'd want to be. Or Quentin Jammer, right? That's just the way you want to be built. Justice Terry has a special physique. He's the first guy off the bus, no doubt.
Traps and triceps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's just 6 months into a college strength and conditioning program.
Yeah. The picture the other day of him in 8th grade.
There he is. This is what you want, man. You got muscles on top of muscles. First guy off the bus, you have to turn sideways, and then you're the first guy off the bus.
You know who he looks a little like? Is a heavyweight boxer with that physique. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jeez.
That guy was born to play football.
Yeah. Well, he's going to get his chance in burnt orange and white this year.
Yeah. There's your 8th grade to 12th grade picture, by the way.
Look at him in
That's
8th grade.
insane,
Look
dude.
at this picture of him in 8th grade.
That's insane.
Could you imagine playing against him in middle school football? Like, that kind of reminds you, like, when Leonard Davis, for those that never saw the Recruits and Review tape, we were talking to Craig Way about this yesterday. We need to bring it back on Texas football. Leonard Davis played middle linebacker at Wortham. Remember this, Bobby, and clothesline guys? Because he wasn't fast enough to get there, so he just stick his arm out and clothesline guys. Like, could you imagine playing against Justice Terry in middle school football?
No, thank you.
You think some guys turned in their helmet and pads after that experience?
That's insane.
He's probably not on my diet either.
Yeah, he's definitely not on.
He's not eating Chick-fil-A.
He's not fasting every 12 hours or whatever you're doing.
Slick Rick with Super Chat. Thank you, sir. He says, how nasty of a duo is Ty Smith and Tyler going to be?
You're not getting me on that one.
Hypothetical.
But in the if game, Elijah Barnes, really good. Jonathan Cunningham's got a chance. He's got to add weight. Linebacker group at Texas this year, I think, is going to be the best I've seen in my years doing this, or most talented and versatile with size. And look, if Texas wins out today, Kosi Okpala's really talented too. They're going places at linebacker
That's
now.
it's not just linebacker, Jerry. It's every position on the field. I mean, look, we're what, 45 minutes into this show? We haven't even talked about Diabell being named the number 2 overall player in the country.
Yes.
Or in the number 1 quarterback.
Yes.
I mean, so
it's hard for me to go with that ranking when somebody has Jermaine Bishop 275.
I know. You
Start over, redo.
Yeah, and Felix Ojo is still in the 40s. My point, and Derek Cooper now in the 120s for some odd reason. My point on all of this, as I see it, is it's not just any one position that Texas is doing this with. It is across the doggone board. That's what's different. The only other time I remember it, now I don't go back to the early 70s and late 60s when Darrell Royal had it really rolling. I know about them, but I didn't watch them, obviously. But the only time period I can remember that Texas had this much talent was the late 70s in the mid-2000s, mid-aughts, where it was a machine, one after another. One guy graduates, another NFL lineman comes in his place. I mean, that's where Texas is headed right now, and it's different. And so whether we're talking about Justice Terry or the linebacker room that you just mentioned, and we were talking about there, it's every position, everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about Texas having two guys. Trey Weiser's a 1,000-yard rusher, and we're sitting here getting ready to talk about a guy that is the number one running back in the country, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Possibly coming to. I mean, it's just. Anyways, forgive me, but I've been following the Longhorns for most of my adult life, or for all of my adult life, but for most of my entire life, and there are a couple of windows that are different. This window is feeling very different.
All right, our next question this morning is going to come from, let's see here, John Robinson. John asked, now that you got boots on the ground there in Atlanta, have you had any good tidbits of inside info about what's going on in the conference?
Bobby may have a different answer than me, but I really think it's in negotiations right now as far as the 9-game sketch. It's TV money negotiations. What's going to come about with that? If the conference championship game goes away, there's going to be 2 play-ins, right? When it goes to 16 teams. I think everything right now is in negotiation mode. That's my big takeaway.
Greg Sankey, his entire press conference, by the way, available on Texas Football if you want to watch it. He spoke a little bit about that. He thinks that the 5-11 model is the way that his constituency, the SEC members, want to go. But he understands that the Big Ten wants to go a different direction. At the same time, he is also trying to get a way of find a way, I guess is the best way to put this, of getting to the 16 teams without having to go to 9 games in the conference until or unless they have the 4-team minimum from the SEC, because he doesn't want an SEC team that's 9-3 somehow getting left out because he has extra teams that are just better and has extra conference games. So that's the piece that is kind of missing in this equation. He's not going to 16 teams unless it's just and then going to 9 conference games unless they're guaranteed 4 spots in the playoff. He's just not. So that's my opinion.
Well, we have plenty more questions to get to, but first, Jerry, I'm going to let you tell everyone about one of mine and Bobby's favorite products. That's Ridge Wallet.
Yeah, Ridge Wallet, Bobby, Blake, they have their Ridge Wallets. One of the best products out there. Obviously, we talk about this all the time. Losing your wallet is the worst, but with the Ridge AirTag attachment, you'll always know exactly where it is before the panic mode kicks in. Ridge isn't just about wallets. They create everyday premium carry essentials like key cases, suitcases, and rings, all built with the same sleek, durable design. No matter what you pick, Ridge has free shipping, a 99-day risk-free trial, a lifetime warranty on all their products. Oh, they have over 50 colors and styles to choose from. That burnt orange leather look is a winner. For a limited time, our listeners get 10% off at Ridge using code ONTEXAS, all caps, at checkout. Just head on over to ridge.com and use that code ONTEXAS, all caps, and you're all set.
All right. Hey, real quick.
Yep.
They're squeezing him in here for us quickly. Jamal Charles.
This show just got really fast, man. Somebody can run hurdles in the 100 and like 10-3 on this show now. We were slow over here before this.
How you doing, Jamal? Good. Welcome to On Texas Football. You are here for Bush's Hot Honey Grilling Beans. You are a ambassador for them, so to speak. Fans will get 2 chances to score their own pair by heading to bushbeanbbqboots.com for drops on Tuesday, July 22nd, and Tuesday, July 20. Look at these boots.
There you go.
There we go. Look at that. Hey,
Flaming hot and spicy. Honey.
got to ask you.
Hey, by the way, the first comment you get, you look like you could still suit up. That's always a good thing to hear when you. The first comment you got from our chat is looks like you could still suit up. That's a good place to be, man.
I just look like this, man. I just look like this. I can't run a dime down in my life.
Hey, Jamal, I got to ask you. Thanks for joining us. Your time at Texas, y'all were obviously a great football team. Won a national championship, then competed some other times. You with Colt McCoy in the backfield. I still remember the Nebraska game. I think that's the fourth quarter of that game remains just unbelievable. My question for you is, what do you think of what Steve Sarkisian's doing now, and what are the similarities maybe or differences that you're seeing?
Him and Bill, Conte doing a great job of just building the whole organization like a really professional team. You know what I'm saying? The facilities got to be in. Texas got one of the best facilities now. The training room got to be on top. Cold tub, hot tub. The locker room, you know what I'm saying, special. You got to have all these things to have a great program, and I think that what they do on the inside, that foundation start first, and then you bring on a good coaching staff, then you bring on a good training staff, strength coach, and that other foundation helps the teams out. And now you got to find the right people like Coach Shark, that great play caller, which players that can fit your system, and which people that how to recruit. And I think they've done a great job. I think it's good that we have money on our side, because if we didn't have money, we wouldn't be, getting great players in. And I think that's one of the reasons why we can stay on top for a long time.
23 guys in the last two drafts in the NFL. Those are records.
Being from Texas, that's what you want to see. In my time of being there, we always seen guys left in the first round, and not even the first round, third round, second round, fourth round. That's what you want to see being a former player. We don't want to go a long time, missing years. Maybe we have a player in the first round for 5 years. That's something really we're not used to. You know what I'm saying? Being from that time playing when Coach Brown was there, Coach Brown always had somebody big in the first round.
Yeah.
Hey, so Texas has a great brotherhood. You guys stick together, right? How are you still? Are you still part? Do you help with the program at all? Do you talk to the Texas running backs? How involved are you now?
Go up to the facilities, and I talked to Coach Shark. I talked to some of the people on the training staff. I've been up there a couple times. I'm in and out. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy that they still. Coach Shark wants the former players around. Right. He wants us to come in. Talk to the people, talk to the program, be around the players. You know what I'm saying? They want to see them, because you know what I'm saying. They want the players to come back, because he wants his own recruit team to come back one day. So it's good to be a legend. You know what I'm saying? Going back to inspire young kids and show them, you know what I'm saying, just keep your hair straight, stay clean. You can have a successful career in your life.
Okay, so I got one more question. Ramont was on last week, and he said, if y'all raised to got you by a little. All right, I'm not sure I buy that. This is your last question. Who would have won that race now?
I'm winning all the races. Like I say, when we used to train, they used to get mad at me in training because I used to win all the 110s, 100. They're like, bro, you got to slow down, or they're going to make us run more. You don't look tired.
I saw you in high school. You're the fastest player I ever saw in Baytown play at Star Stadium to this day.
Jamal, thank you so much. We'll get a read in. He's on Radio Row now, going down and doing a bunch of different interviews. He is an ambassador for Bush's Hot Honey Grill and Beans. Thank you, Jamal. Best of luck to you, buddy. All right, take care of yourself. That's fun. This is why you do Radio Row.
By the way, he still looks like he could run 4.45.
Yeah, he's got high.
Yeah,
he's got high hips.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My father-in-law, by the way, is a dyed-in-the-wool Kansas City Chiefs fan. Grew up in Kansas City, and he likes Texas running backs with not only with Jamal, but he went from Priest Holmes to Jamal. So that's he's one of his favorite players, Jamal Charles.
We got another super chat this morning from Victor Aldridge. Uh-oh, my mouse is going a little crazy. He says, hi, guys from Florida. Hearing that Jake Cruel may be interested in Texas. Do you have any notes on that?
Texas is like Jake Cruel for a while. He's been high on the board. He made an official visit. We'll have to see. We'll have to see on that long term. Most of the June chatter was more around Oklahoma. So we'll see what happens there long term with Jake Cruel. But one of the better edge pass rush prospects in this class.
Okay, we got more questions this morning, and let's see here. Rudy Torres wants to know regarding this team: who are the top 5 fastest players, top 5 hardest workers, top 5 leaders?
All right, let me get a list out. Okay, fastest players. Jerry, I'm going to just start and write names, and you add to them. I got Cade Phillips, Ryan Wingo. Who's next?
DeAndre Moore is sneaky fast, like Matthew Golden was sneaky fast. He's going to run at the combine better than people think he will.
Man. Not just a lot of speed demons.
No. It's great team speed.
Yeah.
Positional speed's off the charts. Secondary wise,
Cade Phillips is the fastest, right? You would think.
Jonah Williams is going to test well.
Yeah.
Time wise. Stride and
what were the other ones?
explosive
Hardest worker, and I can't remember. Is Ryan Niblett in that group?
Ryan Niblett and Xavier Filsaime.
Okay. Yeah. That's true.
Both ran 10-4, 10-5 in high school as juniors.
So the other 2 were top 5 hardest workers, top 5 leaders.
Hardest workers.
Boy, it's subjective.
Leaders, Arch Manning right now.
Michael
Anthony
Taft,
Hill.
Anthony Hill, the 3 guys here today.
Yeah.
I think Cole Hudson is a leader of an offensive line. He's got leadership job with him. I think Trey Moore from a leadership standpoint.
He's also hardest worker.
He's also hardest worker. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, those Texas isn't lacking leaders on this team. I'll say that.
No, far cry from where Sark started this thing, frankly.
Okay, next question this morning comes from Jinglish? Jay English? I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but he says, what is more likely? Loaded year of SEC quarterbacks light up the scoreboard like the old Big 12, or modern SEC defenses make 80% or more of the hyped up quarterbacks look pedestrian?
I think it's going to be in between because the rules are different now. They continue to be made for offensive football. In all sports, it's made for offense. And I do think, I think where college offense is, speed of the game. I mean, look, how many plays you're running now versus back in the day, just all those things. And then you also have helmet communication with quarterbacks and the play caller. I mean, those are major things now in college football. And the way the game's officiated leans to offense. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And that's why you're seeing your national championship games and your college football playoff games as a whole being higher scoring. I just don't – I think you put it all together, and that's where it is. I think the SEC – I think Garrett Nussmeier is going to put up points at LSU. He's got 3 NFL receivers around him. I think Arch Manning in Texas is going to put up points. Lagway is going to put up points. He's got multiple NFL receivers, NFL running back. Lenora Sellers can put up points on his own sometimes. We'll see what's around him this year. But if you look around the league, I think it's going to be – I don't know what the chat can look it up. What's the highest scoring average per game in SEC history? I'd be interested to see what that is because I bet it gets challenged this year.
We have a super chat that just came in from Splendid Daddy, formerly Sugar Daddy. And he says, who's starting in the secondary by season's end?
Woo! Manny Muhammad, Michael Taft, Jelani McDonald, Jalen Gilbo, and do you think Gilbo sticks at corner, really?
I'm not sure. I'm undecided.
I am too. I'll say this. I think I got 4 or 5. And the 5th one, I think, is going to be Wardell Mack. I'm slightly ahead on him over Kobe Black at this time. And that's because I think Gilbo's going to try to stick at corner first, just like make the move, just like Jade Barron did. But all of that is a guess, just so everybody understands. I'm not saying that's definitive.
All right, guys, we got
By the
time.
way, my question for the chat was, I know that what's the highest scoring year, not for a team, but for the SEC conference ever? If somebody can find that answer, like what's the highest scoring average for the league in history? Because I bet it gets challenged this year.
We got time for a few more questions before we get out of here. But before, I want to focus on recruiting on those last few questions as well. But before we get to that, Bobby, I'm going to let you tell everyone about Rick Vavro and Austin Underground one last time.
Yeah, Rick and his team offer an end-to-end client experience, including seamless communication, budgeting, staffing, and top-notch trade partners. And most importantly, they produce solid quality work each and every time. That's Austin Underground. Since 2004, Austin Underground has specialized in difficult commercial underground installations. Also, if you're out in Jonestown, the water is rising out there, by the way. I hear near the lake or in the lake. Make sure you check out Lone Star Bar. Rick owns Lone Star Bar as well. He started that up about a year ago. Stop by and have a nice cold drink one afternoon. You may see Rick there at the bar hanging out. That's Lone Star Bar. Also, Austin Underground.
Thank you, Bobby. And as I said, we do have time for a few more questions. But first, let's talk about Tyler Atkinson again. Obviously, that was the big news that we opened with. We've had a lot of people join us since talking about him. So let's run over that one more time.
Yeah, Tyler Atkinson, the 5-star linebacker on Texas football, 5-star, was a no-brainer for us. Announces his decision live on the Pat McAfee show. We haven't heard the exact time on that yet, but he's announcing his decision on the Pat McAfee show. It's going to be Texas or Georgia. We felt pretty good about it on Monday morning. We posted on TexasFootball.com. Not a better time to become a member. We got our SEC Media Days threads. Everybody's having fun. Josie's making fun of me. That's always a good time. But look, we felt pretty good about this. Let's see where it goes today with the announcement. You know, these guys fight till the end on it. And Georgia's not going to give up. If it was headed Georgia's way, Texas wouldn't give up. But we felt pretty good about Texas here in the last 24 hours. We'll see what he announces. But that will be on the Pat McAfee show live coming up here and shortly.
And let's take a couple of recruiting questions before we get to the super chat to close us out. Longhorn Frenzy 1 says, any insight on Zayden Crimpin possibly flipping to Texas?
Jerry, I'll let you take that one.
Look, I think some of these things would take some time to play out. Texas is definitely staying on guys like Malachi Lee, Trenton Henderson, James Johnsons of the world. So we'll see what happens there on Zayden Crimpin.
And then a question that a lot of people have asked, like this one from John 007. If Texas gets Atkinson and Cooper, do they rise into the top 5 when it comes to recruiting rankings?
It would be, I think Texas would have to get 3 guys. So if you say you went out for Atkinson, if we're playing the if game, if you say you went out for Cooper, I think they need another highly ranked guy to be inside the top 5 come kickoff of the season. They're going to be right. I mean, if Texas got those 2 guys, they're knocking on the door, whether they're ranked 6 or 7 class at that point.
And then we have a super chat that we will close with, fellas, from the Loin Girder. Thank you, the Loin Girder. He says, I feel like me is the most likely player to transfer. There's too much talent in the safety room that can leapfrog him.
Don't break into jail would be my comment to you. Don't think that that's going to happen until after you see what transpires this week or this football season, excuse me. We've thought that other people were going to likely transfer. I mean, before fall practice this year, I mean, think about this. I want everybody to think about this. Jeff Howe, by the way, wrote a great article on Trey Wisner over on Texas Football this morning. But before fall practice, wouldn't you have thought that maybe Trey Wisner would be a transfer candidate in 2025? Because if you think about it, Cedric Baxter was his same year, and he was going to be the leader of that running back room. And Jaden Blue was the boutique back.
He was the third guy.
He was the clear third. So what I'm saying here on Xavier Filson, I mean, we can say, oh, yeah, he's a good transfer candidate. don't count your chickens. So don't break into jail on that kind of thing, because you never know. Phil Simay may come out and have an unbelievable fall camp. Derek Williams' knee may never return for whatever. I mean, there's just so many ifs and buts. But Michael Taft is such a violent hitter and throws his body around. He ends up with a dislocated shoulder. So I mean, there's just all kinds of things. I think that people may be going. Don't worry about that kind of stuff until it's time to worry about it. Really, I think.
I will say for the guys, and it's the same when you're for any classes when you're recruiting at this level, is that the guys who are sophomores or second year players now, they have to hold off some really talented guys behind them. And August is going to be very important for the 2024 recruiting class, the guys who aren't already established. Because if they start getting passed by guys from the 25 class, they have a steep hill to climb at that point. That's what we're going to be watching in fall camp as much as anything is, do some of these second-year guys hold off some of these first-year guys? Because if they don't, that's when the transfers happen.
I agree with you. So that's the natural transfer phase.
Yep.
And there was thought this time last year Trey Weiser might get passed by one of those true freshmen because they needed I could be wrong, but I would hold off on worrying about transfers right now. They're worried about trying to find themselves in the too deep. That's what Xavier Filsamean needs to be worried about, and only that, in my opinion.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode of Coffee and Football, presented by Rick Vavro and Austin Underground. I want to thank Rick, along with Vaughn Lane, and, of course, Ridge Wallet for sponsoring today's show. Don't forget to head on over to ontexasfootball.com. If you're a new member or you want to be a new member, use promo code OTFOG when you sign up. You'll get a full year for $39.95. Again, that's promo code OTFOG. And the guys are going to have SEC Media Day coverage.
I just got my subscription yesterday. I think it's great.
Yeah, around the clock over there.
Just do what I did.
Along with on YouTube.
I love it. Blake, I love it because the community on TexasFootball.com has really picked up in the last couple of weeks, punctuated by yesterday. Tyler Atkinson's decisions today. We're going to be having that. We'll be back for that this afternoon or morning, late morning in Central Time Zone. Also want to thank Jamal Charles for stopping by. That was very nice of him. Sam Acho we saw for a little bit. Thank all of our SEC Media Week sponsors, including Flat Creek, Vaughn Lane, South Point Dodge, and the folks over at Advanced Pain Care as well.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we will be back same time, same place tomorrow. Hope you all have a great day. So for Bobby Burton and Jerry Ham.